Friday already, huh? Friday's edition of Benzinga's pre-market info, brought to you by the good people at OptionsHouse. If you click the banner at the top of the page, you can get 150 free trades. What a great way to start the year. We're all hunkered down here in the Benzinga headquarters. We're probably going to be snowed in for the whole weekend, and we'll just do a continuous broadcast. How you doing this morning, Brent? You back in the groove here?
Back in the driver's seat, ready to go. It was, let's see, 3 degrees when I got in my car this morning. It was 1 degree singular when I got to work today. So, hunkered down, yes, I would agree.
Yeah.
What is going on here? Like, what is with the cold weather? What is with all the snow? Like, I thought global warming was happening. Like, who invented that global warming stuff? Because that guy should get fired because it's global colding, man. He did it
Global
backwards.
colding.
It is so cold outside.
And should I do an article on what stocks will benefit from the cold weather?
From the global colding, you should do that,
That's
Joel. You
actually a
should
good
do that.
idea.
Yeah, Dennis, how is it over there in
Green Mountain.
Canada? You get your driveway clear?
All I'm doing is shoveling snow. I'm always shoveling.
Wait a second. Wait a second, Dennis.
Okay, okay.
You have a shovel. You must have a really small driveway then, right?
I
What
got the
up?
neighbor's snow blower that I blow sometimes. I use him
Uh,
sometimes,
but you use it. You actually use a shovel?
well,
I mean, come on, Dennis.
I
This
have a
is
really good neighbor. He always comes over and basically he'll
So
offer
when
me.
you say you're going to shovel the driveway, that means that you go out.
Sometimes do use an actual shovel. Yes, yes. Technology here in Canada is a little bit behind
So that
sometimes.
means you go over and you ask your neighbor to what is it, snow blow your driveway? Is that because you said yesterday you were going to go out and shovel? And I'm like, I can't imagine
It's
Dennis
good
say,
exercise though. It's the only exercise
you're
I
going
get.
to
I sit on
drop
my
dead.
butt all day, so I need to get out there and actually do get exercise.
You're going to
If I-
drop dead of a heart attack out there, man.
Well, that could
What the
happen when
heck?
it's 0 degrees outside and you're trying to shovel 8 inches of snow off your driveway with a snow shovel. It doesn't work that well. So, yeah, maybe I should go invest in a snowblower.
Wow.
But
So what? Don't you have people? I mean, that go around and do driveways and stuff?
yeah,
I
the
mean,
neighbor. I just told you.
no, man.
The neighbor comes
And
over.
you don't pay the neighbor, do you? You just, oh my god.
I pay him in beer. I
Oh
drop him
my.
a case of beer every once in a while. He
Oh
likes his
yeah,
beer.
he's probably cold beer out there. No, because around here, we have people that actually have businesses that shovel driveways and stuff, and it's always a big debate at the beginning of the year where you go per push, where that means you pay, 20, $30 every time, or you go the flat rate, and it's always a big decision because if I go, the flat rate, then we don't get any snow. If I go per push, then we get all kinds of snow. But I don't know, I just had a feeling this year I went with the flat rate. I think it was like $300. I got a pretty big driveway.
Whoa,
And this guy's
good
been out like
call.
5 or 6 times. And I have his cell phone number. So I'm like, okay, hey, Weingarts, when are you come over and do my driveway? And he gets all mad at me. But
Wow.
So
yeah.
Good
you're
call on the flat rate.
you already got
Yeah.
your
Genius
values
move.
worth.
Genius move.
I wish I could have like bought two of them and then like sold them to the neighbors that didn't do the flat rate. And I also had the girls out there shoveling the front walk yesterday. They were not too happy about that, but
Somebody should sell like options for, snow blowing, flat rate, slash, not
actually,
flat rate.
what
'Cause
I
I'd buy some call options, just because of years like this.
actually, it's funny you mentioned that because when I worked on the floor, I can't think of the guy's name, when in Chicago, we used to trade snow options.
No way.
Yes, well, snow futures,
Wow.
and it would be
Snow futures.
yeah, and it was based on you had to put money in, and then it was just like a bid and offer, and it would be for the total snowfall in Chicago for the entire year. And there'd be something it'd close at 10 inches, and then come in next day it'd be like 15 bid, and
Wow.
it was fun. I didn't participate too much, so I'm very good at predicting the weather. Like whenever we go on vacation and stuff, I always like I got a secret site. You know what my secret site is?
Wait, you're not supposed to tell us if it's.
If it's secret,
Yeah.
it,
Do you
got-
want to keep it a secret to yourself?
you guys ever go to NOAA.gov?
Oh yeah, actually, it's a
Well,
great
can't
site.
keep a secret.
Do you go to that, Dennis? Or no, you guys can't have it, right? Because you're in Canada. They don't
I
like
don't
they
even know what
blocked
that
it.
is.
They blocked the URL for you guys.
Probably.
It's the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
What do they tell you there? They,
Oh,
they
it's
tell you
it's the
everything,
it's the government's weather. Yeah, it's the government. It's incredible, man.
and they're always right.
They
They
it's,
make a weather.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
make the weather. Conspiracy theory here this morning on the Options House Benzinga pre-market show.
So what's going on? We had a huge sell-off yesterday to start the year, so that means we're going to have a down year.
Wow. Unbelievable. We had a sell-off here, Joel. This is not a good start to the year, and we are actually, believe it or not, down another 6 points here this morning, but we have rallied all the way back. We made a low of 1820 and a half. When did we make that low? Because when I was trading after hours, we were trading higher. When I woke up this morning, we were trading higher. When the hell did we get down to 1820 and a half?
Let me go to my trusty intraday
Overnight
chart.
chart?
Yeah, I think it had to be. Let's see here. Looking at the chart here. Whew, not too long ago. Let's see where it was. It definitely occurred on Friday here. Let me blow it up a little bit and see where the traders got a little bit anxious here. Knocked the market down to 1821, or excuse me, 1820.50, Dennis. And what do you know? It's right around that 2 o'clock open. 145, 130 to 145 bar. We hit that
Mm,
1820 there. For those of you paying attention to daily highs and lows, 1821.75 was yesterday's low. 1820.50 was low in the pre-market. So there's a good level for you. Coming back on the upside, we're trading right up near the highs here, but you have to imagine that triple bottom that we had in the futures at 1833, 1834. It's going to provide some formidable resistance if we can muster a rally another 3 4 points.
what happened to crude yesterday? That just started going down and it wouldn't stop going down. We're trading down here at 95 and a half now. We were up at like 99 yesterday. What happened?
Uh, I think Jake and Brent were talking something about a derailment or whatever, but I don't know what that had to do with the price. I
It
guess
was
it's.
ugly in crude though. If it's just a technical breakdown there, holy cow. Like we said, it snuck its head above there, that 100, couldn't hold, and then it was consolidating for a few days. So it was starting to look concerning on the chart. But wow, man, look at that sell off yesterday. That thing was just straight down.
Yeah, it went. It took out the low from Tuesday, which is right around 98 and change, and that coincided with a low that you had back on December 19th, and then it was after that it just boom fell out of bed. I guess this is just one of those scenarios. I mean, this will never happen to the stock market, of course, but look at the way all these days it took to climb up to get to
Yep.
over $100, and boom, in 4 trading sessions. It's giving back over half of the move here, so we'll have to do a little digging into the fundamentals here. But you got it, you little gold bug, Dennis. You doing okay? Are you still riding those
Still
weeklies?
riding it a bit. I'm a little concerned here. I think this could be the day where gold reverses. So I'm trying to hedge here pre-market. I'm hedged on the Barrick. I've hedged all my Barrick calls. Those worked out well. I've sold part of the Newmont calls. I'm trying to hedge with the stock here. I was trying to even hedge a little bit in the pre-market on the NEM. I do have the 24 calls. I'd love the thing to get up there like 24 and a half. And I'd dump the whole kit and caboodle, but I don't think I don't know if it's got enough gas to get there. It was trading up 24.35 a little bit pre-market. I was like, wow, that would have been a good price, but I did not get that. Now it's offered at 24.15 my Newmont, so I need to get out of some Newmont stock here.
We were talking about it, and the way these gold stocks react to the gold futures overnight, and a lot of times, the open is key. And remember,
Yeah.
I was talking about that with you before we go to the specific Newmont chart. Gold did hit 1238.30 earlier in the session. Now we have pulled back, kind of trading a little bit below mid range, so that's a little bit concerning. But the big level on the upside, in addition to that 1238.30, you had a high at 1244 and 1247.60. So, I mean, 1250 still could be a target on the upside, but like to see this thing get back over the mid range here and make it run at the 1238.30 level. Had a nice little pop off 1200. That's kind of been a key level going back. Well, it hit those in December and it got a nice bounce. And then if you go a little bit longer term, when gold bottomed back in at the end of June, that was the key level too. So that'll be something we'll need to keep an eye on.
I've got a funny feeling gold might close down today. I don't know why I have that feeling. Just call it a feeling. But either way, here I'm trying to lighten up some of my positions here in gold.
Okay, what else do we got? What else do we have moving today on
We do have some movers in the individual equities here. Interesting. General Electric getting a downgrade, getting downgraded at Oppenheimer here. So the big down day. It did sneak up above that $28 there just before the end of the year. There got up 28.09. Took out that big guy at 28 we had been talking about. Could not hold on to those gains. Yesterday opened up near the highs of 27.86. Cascaded down with the rest of the market for the majority of the day, closing at 27.50. Now Oppenheimer coming out here, downgrading the stock.
And what are they in what's the note on that, Brent? Do you have that? Why they're downgrading General Electric here at this lofty level?
Well, I believe it was a valuation call, but they said effectively that the stock still remains a store of value. That was a quote from that one. I haven't dug into that one
Okay.
yet, but it seems like it's a valuation call more or less.
Yeah, just a little bit of a run up. It's funny, Dennis, how it does take out, the whole number. We do talk about institutional sellers and how, they'll stay the level for a long time. Here was a case where it did take out the $28 level, but
Yep.
didn't have the Momo to continue north. Came back down to that level, and a lot of people were caught long at that point. It's puking the position. I guess looking at this thing on the daily chart here. You did have a low. I mean, you really don't have major support coming in until well, 27.27 was your a low that you had. If you look at the dailies, boy, 27.41 was the low yesterday. That coincides with the low at 27.36. I mean, I don't know. I don't think this is gonna have a huge effect here. I see a couple lows here. I don't see this getting into the low 27s today. What do you think, Dennis?
Yeah, I don't think G's got enough gas to get down there. Usually a big move for G. On a downgrade from Oppenheimer, might not get down 20, 30 cents. I don't think it's got enough to get to the 27 level, but who knows? The market rolls over, then it would have enough. But I don't know. I think this market's going to hold up today. For some reason here, I think you might get a little bit of a pullback, maybe test settlement, maybe even test the overnight low. But I think we close positive, and I think gold reversed today too. They're going to have the Friday reversal day here. So we're trading up in gold here this morning, trading up a little bit in the market, but we were trading down in the market. I'm looking, maybe some key opens here. If the market opens a little bit higher, might sneak down, try to shake a few people out before it starts to go into rally mode once again, which the market always does.
And look, it took. It's funny because it took 5 days to claw its way from 27.40 to 28.09, and in one trading session, it gives
Oh
it
yeah.
all back. So it's hard to pick a top, but you definitely want to catch these equities when they're going on the momentum, because you got that seller at 28 got taken out on the 31st, but they were probably back again yesterday, and the high freaks didn't even let it get back near that $28 level.
No, they did not. But look at that chart of Twitter yesterday. I want to talk about stocks clawing their way back. Holy cow, Twitter. We thought it might, come back here eventually. I didn't think it was going to come back. Almost everything yesterday rallied $3 yesterday. Is up another $1.50 today. Don't call it a comeback, but Twitter is now only $6 off its all-time high after that vicious 16-point sell-off.
See, we are trading up in the pre-market here. We've made a pre-market high. We're just right near that level, 69.14. Just steady climb here. Got started with an upgrade yesterday. I don't know who the joker was, but he nailed it. A lot of people probably just were waiting for this thing just to die again. Now we're 4 points away back from the all-time high. Little bit surprised at this move. Have to look at the dailies here, and 71 and a quarter was the high that you had on the 27th. So don't know if we'll get there today, but amazing turnaround for the issue that traded 58.57 on Monday.
Interesting though, Facebook really didn't participate that well with this Twitter rally yesterday. If you would say Facebook or Twitter is going to be up $4, and if you tack on the dollar and or half it's making this morning, $5.50 in the last basically one trading session, I'd say Facebook probably going to rally a buck or two. Facebook really did not rally that much yesterday. Got up again 55.22 and then closed below 55. It is struggling up here in this whole 55 area. Here this morning, pre-market, we're up another 48 cents here at 55.19. You think this is the day that Facebook can finally start to claw its way above this whole 55 area,
Yeah,
or does it just turn around and reverse again?
no, I think well, you are opening up to a little resistance. It is let's see here. Tuesdays and Thursdays high was 55.18, 55.22. You are trading above that. I don't know if I'd be buying it at 50, 55.20, but if you get some week longs puking off the open, maybe came back down to 55 even. Maybe try a low, try a buy there with a stop. You had a double close 54.65 and 54.71, so I think any kind of decline here under 55, and you're going to find some good support coming back on the upside above this 55.22. Dennis, things really open up until the 57 handle.
Let's look at another Momo stock that we haven't looked at for a while, which is 3D Systems, triple D. Stock got down to as low as 90.15 yesterday and then just started rallying. This was right off the hop. So basically, you had a puke fest from 93 down to $90 in the first, I don't know, 20 minutes. And then hard rally. In the next hour, this thing went from 90 almost to $95. So you got a V bottom there. You know how I like my V bottoms. If you put it on the intraday chart from yesterday, you can see that V there. What you often see is the V bottom and then the consolidation period and then a continuation of the last move, which was up 5 points. So I'm thinking 3D Systems actually might break out to new all-time highs here today. And actually, I guess we're trading up near those right now because it's up another dollar here in the pre-market at 95 and a quarter.
95.40 old time high. Looking at the pre-market trading here, it's even been higher than that. So it traded up to 96 even. So
I guess I wasn't going on too
yeah,
much
you
on
weren't
there.
going too much on it here. But the only thing I did not have this one up on the main screen yesterday, but you did. We had been talking for a few days. About that 90 level, and if you would have had it stop at 90 yesterday, you would have been holding you know what. It got to 90.15. You had
Got close.
yeah, it got close. You had a 90.31 low and an 89.70 low. So it was close. You wouldn't have gotten stopped out, but sure. Still, that's the major number on the downside. Nice little pickup in volume too. I mean, we had a slow day on the 31st, 2.5 million, but back over 4 million yesterday. So good move here. Knocking on the door. I just above that recent high. Let's keep an eye on the pre-market high of $96. And why don't we delve into some of these other ones? And I'm gonna get this right. I'm gonna go SYSS, right?
Uh-uh.
Oh
No, you get it
no!
wrong. You
Oh,
transpose everything. It's SSYS.
they
I knew you did that on purpose, didn't
they changed it.
There,
They
They
changed
changed
it.
there was a Needham analyst yesterday that was raising the price target on 3D Systems to $100. Not that much upside to that target, but he was citing next week's Consumer Electronics Show. He thinks that
it? Catalyst.
yeah, exactly. He thinks that there's going to be some new consumer, and a term that he used was prosumer, meaning like professional consumer 3D printers being announced by 3D Systems at next week's CES.
Do you know when what the actual day is that on
I believe it starts Tuesday.
that? Okay. So you got 2 day potential run here in DDD and in possibly SSYS. I like these stocks right now. I think Triple D breaks out to new highs. I think it could be a triple digit stock by the time they have that show.
A little
So
bit of a run
next couple
into it.
days, Triple D could be a triple digit stock.
Well, if you're paying attention to the daily highs and lows in that SSYS, you had a low. You
Yay!
had a low at Tuesday, 130.78. Just got 28 cents below that at 130.50 before it turned around and rallied, made an all new time high at 135.52. Trading down here a little bit in the pre-market. I'm not sure if that. Yeah, they're just little old lady prints here, 25 and 55 shares. So that really not looking significant. The last one in that sector is XONE. I got that one right. The X1.
Well, you're getting good at these ticker
Yeah,
symbols.
these 3D stocks I follow a little bit here. This stock, boy, they've got a mound of resistance here
We
at what's
do.
that, 62.50?
I think we're lining up though. I think we're lining up to eventually take that out. I'm ready and rearing on the brake
Well,
on
we
this one.
are.
I
We're
want to
already,
see this. I want to see this above $65 though. It's too soon at 62.50. It's too soon at $63. Above $65, I'm going to get very interested in this one.
so you're gonna let it rally another 2 points before you're gonna buy it.
Buy high, sell higher. That is the name of the game for the last 2 years in this market. The game has not changed. I do not know if this thing is breaking out yet. I want to have verification. So yes, I'm going to let this thing rally another $2 before I get interested.
And you won't buy it if it gets up to
I do
65.
the
Now you
options. I
won't
like
buy
those
it. You'll
options.
sell it. You'll short it.
I'll sell it. I'm not contrarian like you, Joel.
You will.
That's what you. That's what Joel would do.
No, no. And
I'm a
then
Momo trader.
the best in breed in 3D printing stocks. Organova holder.
REONVOJ dot.
It's kind
Where is
of
it this morning? I haven't even looked at it yet.
that's
Where
like
is it?
it's like the Sun Tech of the new year. Remember we
It's
were
unbelievable. It's
uh,
been unbelievable. I sold more options yesterday. I couldn't resist. It got up to $12 yesterday. I was like, sold some options, sold a few more. I'm now sitting on very few option contracts left here. I do have my full stock position though, J Dot, so I'm still involved. But my options are going to expire there in a couple of weeks, and this has been a pretty good run.
I guess the whole number theory here got to 1205 and then had a pretty nice sell off once it hit that 1205 level. Maybe there was some size there and people got stuck a little bit long. I thought I was going to struggle more at that 11.54 level. That was the high that you had on the 31st, but strong follow through on that. $12 the key level. After that, you had a high just before that. I guess it was after that Seeking Alpha article. That was the day that article came out and made the 1240 high. So that's the next number to keep an eye on.
Definitely an awesome stock so far in 2014
And
and
part of
at the last day of 2013.
yeah, that's why you're not going to count it as my best pick
No, no,
because
no, no. Well, we're counting it from yesterday, so you got yesterday's rally. Where did it? We should write this down. Where was the close there for the year? Do you have that number written down there?
yes, I
Because
do.
we need to know.
884.
No, 884, 884. Because what was it up yesterday? Where
And
did
I
it close?
closed at 1107 on the 30th.
So you aren't up much, I guess, for 2014. You should have been the day early, but
Yeah,
that's
okay.
okay though. It's still going to be a good pick here. I think that thing's going to be a nice stock. 1240 check. He says 1240.
Yeah, that's the number. That was the number that, like I said, the day that Seeking Alpha article came out. I like to see what that guy. Maybe I'll send him some hate mail like I used to get on Seeking Alpha.
You want to talk about a stock that was breaking out yesterday? I did not think it had the gas to do this. Obviously, got the upgrade yesterday from Citigroup. Bank America. Holy cow, that was a move for BAC. A stock that typically moves 15 or 20 cents. Had the upgrade. I thought it might get up there and test, the 16. I figured it would struggle though in front of that guy. Blew through the seller at 16. We're in full breakout mode on BAC. A lot of these financials actually fairly strong yesterday considering how weak the market was.
Did you see the volume?
No, what was the volume yesterday?
150. 150.
It traded 150 million, eh? What does it usually trade?
50, 57,
So it was
56, 40,
crazy.
48.
I had to take out that guy at 16. He probably had 100 million shares there.
Holy
Took him out.
mackerel. Now what are you doing this thing?
Oh, it's breaking up, buying pullbacks for sure. But I don't know if you're going to get one. It's up another 12 cents here today. Your leader, the leader of the pack right now, BAC.
I mean, we got to look at.
It's back.
Yeah,
BAC.
we got to look at this. I mean, if you want to get really bullish here, it's funny how I can bring out a chart to support whatever argument. Like if I want to say, oh, this thing's overdone, looks really bearish, I can bring up that chart. And then for the perma
Go to
bulls,
the monthlies and
yeah,
you say,
for the
"Ooh,
perma
that still
bulls
looks
like
bad."
yeah, for the perma bulls like you, I can pull that up. Actually, I did a little blurb on Benzinga yesterday and just talked about how a stock like Bank America, boom, laboring back at these levels. Here's a stock that I predict will never, ever, ever gets to it back its all-time high because of that reverse split, has it the high at 570.
$570 is the all-time high. Is that what it is from the split?
Yeah, for the reverse split.
Uh,
And then you juxtapose that with Wells Fargo, and that stock just made a new all-time high.
Wells
yesterday.
had a weak day yesterday,
It
though. It
did.
was
Oh yeah.
interesting. It
I
was
mean,
kind of like a crazy, crazy day because Wells was weak, and it was one of the stronger ones there. And then Bank of America with the upgrade just blew through everything.
yeah, Wells. Well, what happened with the Wells Fargo is they ran into a seller here at the 55.50. I think they were targeting the whole 45.50 area because it danced around there for 5 or 6 days. It got up to 54. It got up to 63. Just the trader was letting it get above the 50 level and then pounding it down. But you had one, two, three, four, five, six highs within a 20-cent range, and that was between 45.46 and 45.63. Finally, seller got a little bit more aggressive yesterday, but that's a great level to keep an eye on in Wells Fargo.
Got a lot of action from the analysts, but Citigroup is very, very active here in the utility companies this morning.
Huh.
EXC, they're downgrading that one to sell. They're downgrading FE, which is First Energy. They are upgrading DTE Energy, Detroit Edison. ED, they are downgrading. And NRG, they are also downgrading. So these guys are all over the place this morning in the utilities.
And what has the most interesting chart here to take a
Well, I'm
look?
looking here. I was looking at EXC here. Actually, it's got another downgrade too. So you got EXC getting downgraded by Bank of America, downgrade to sell by Citigroup. So two big analysts ganging up on EXC here this morning. These utility companies typically move 30, 40 cents in a day, but this is a double downgrade deal here. It's also breaking through a key support level around 27 bucks. The low back in November was 26.64. That's got to hold. It starts taking that out, and it's starting to look really ugly here. We know they've been kind of smacking stuff with yield. They've been smacking some of these utilities even into last year. These stocks have been relatively weak, and it doesn't look like it's going to let up here this morning with the Citi slash Bank of America downgrades.
Those lows that you were talking about were actually December 2nd, December 3rd. You hit a 26.64 low, 26.74 low. Now we're trading in the pre-market here. You've hit 26.65, so that's a great level there on the downside here. I don't think it's gonna have much gas to really kill it through that level. This stock just hasn't been a big participator. I mean, in fact, non-participation's been going down for quite some time here, but I guess people are just they're worried about interest rates, or
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like the same reason they were selling the preferreds, the same reason the bonds obviously were getting whacked. It's all just worries about interest rates going forward here. They were smacking stuff like this all last year. Plus, if you look at it even from the perspective, I mean, the market's giving you 27%. You really want to stick your money in a utility stock that's yielding you 4.5 and going down 3 points a year. So the stocks are just out of favor. That's the whole thing. Safety has been out of favor here. Risk on, risk off. These are more defensive trades, and the defensive trades have not been working. So you saw stocks last year like EXC getting smacked. DTE had a bad year too. FE weak again. Like bring up all these charts. All these things closed pretty much near their lows. ED same story. All these things very weak. Pretty much all the entire last year as the risk on, risk off trade, and these things obviously defensive. They were taking money off these things.
well, trying to bring up this Detroit Eddy chart here. So I mean, so it's just people just dumping these things and going into Twitter and Facebook, huh? Just
I think so. I think you just have to risk on, risk off. I mean, they were dumping gold, they're dumping defensive names, and they're dumping, and they're worried a little bit about interest rates. These do trade kind of like bonds because these things very stable. The earnings flow is very stable, higher dividends thing. They kind of trade like bonds. So if you bring up a great indicator on these things is usually the TLT. You can look at that ETF there, and when it's trading down, usually these things are trading down too. Now, obviously today that entire story is going to be different because there's upgrades and downgrades. DTE getting upgraded here this morning. It's definitely going to open higher. What do you think of the chart on that one?
the DT. I just had that up there. I went to the TLT Detroit Eddy. Boy, had been in a range for quite a while. Let's just take a look at the pre-market trading. Boy, got a pop here, but absolutely 700 shares. Not a big believer in that. Trading right at the high 65.98. Someone trying to paint the tape here. You have had really good major resistance here at the 66.50 level. You've had basically the last five highs within 20 cents almost between 66.44 and 66.65. So if it could float up another 50 cents here, the 66.50 level, I think you're going to find a mountain of sellers.
ED is another interesting one here too, and then we'll get off this. But ED actually broke down ahead of this downgrade there yesterday. It was down $1.10, so very weak very weak day for Consolidated Edison. Stock made a new low on the move down at 53.96, is now down at 53.45 here this morning, so continuing down here. This is going into multi-year low territory. We go back in October of 2012 and we were down there at 53.63, so we are taking that out here today. You got to go to the monthlies to try to find support on this puppy.
Now this is more related to. Isn't this more of a Midwest utility stock, like Chicago or something like that? Am I correct
I'm
in
not sure where
that?
they're based out of Consolidated Edison. Anybody in the chat know?
Maybe making things up again here, but
You could be right.
a lot of error between the 50 and 55 area. You need to go back into July of 2011. That's where you're getting to in this issue. Actually, in August of 2011, you got down to 49.18. Don't think we're going to quite see that yet, but the whole 50 to 55 area was a vacuum on the way back
Uh-oh.
up in July, and boy, I'm not saying this thing's going to $50, but it could be going to $50.
Whoa.
It's,
Chart's not looking great. 4.56% dividend always helps a little bit. So that,
and
obviously.
what about and I just pulled this chart up. I hadn't looked at this in a while. Look at Sun Edison. Right back at it. Look at that thing. Right.
Yeah, solar.
Wow.
SUNE up at new highs here again yesterday, eh?
Yeah.
13.96 traded up to just
Wow.
under $14. I wonder if there's somebody sticking
Yeah.
around,
I
kicking
mean,
around at the point.
it was funny because this is where they had the earnings and they whacked it, and then solar stocks were on fire yesterday. I don't know what got into that. I don't know if there was some upgrades or whatever, but they had a nice day. Look at the FSLR here. This thing could be primed for a big breakout here.
Yeah,
Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! I might have to take a call. I might have to take a look at these.
I
I'm not
like
gonna.
that for solar.
Yeah.
Same type of thing yesterday. Had the little weak shakeout right off the open. This is what I look for. I look for stuff like this. Yeah, that weak shakeout off the open, knocked it down, shook out the weak hands, and then rallied straight 3.5 straight points in about an hour and a half. And now you've had the consolidation period where you have the shorts,
Ooh.
bears, and the bulls battling it out. People that were taking profits from their 3-point move getting out. People banking, oh, maybe it'll give the gains back. You have those contrarian players like Joel that always like to fade
You
those
know what?
moves.
I am buying 60 calls.
You're
And
getting a
not
lot.
30.
You're getting bullish here. I'm getting bullish. That means you
I,
guys should all get bearish. From me and Joel both on the same
I,
side never works out. But I'm bullish this first soul. I think this thing starts breaking out of 58 today. Honestly, I think it could see 60.
I'm
Not even a word of a
yep.
lie.
I'm all over this, man. The SCTY's rallied from under the $44 level. I am going. I am putting a market order in. I'm going to let the
You're
options.
running a market order. Wherever blank check, rate them the
I'm just
blank
going
check.
to
I
ask
just
for all.
need to be in.
I'm just going to ask for
Need.
all the offers in the 60 calls, in the weeklies, the bi-weeklies, whatever. I'm going to take them all out. I'm going all in here. It's my second trade my second call of the year here.
That one looks good. Solar City too, SCTY. That one had a good reversal day yesterday again too. Put in a double bottom actually, even 55.67 the low from Tuesday, 55.56 the low from yesterday, and we snuck up above $60 yesterday. I'm looking for some follow through on this one. Think you could have a 2-day
I
move.
like the first solar chart better.
Okay.
I
Well,
really do.
either way, they're probably going to move together. So pick your
Hey,
poison.
what's the other one?
Think these
Trina?
things could rally.
Is that Trina's TRL? Is that what it is? Uh,
Trina Solar's TSL.
oh, they changed it. Okay.
I love the voices.
Tre-
TSL had a big day yesterday too. Big reversal. We're down to third. Look at this. Look at the range yesterday. 1340 to 1506. You want to talk about volatility here? There's always something going up. Even when the market's down 15 S&P points, it doesn't matter. We can always find something going up. And Trina Solar and all these solar stocks were the ones moving yesterday.
Hey, look at this. Jared said Solar City just put solar panels on all of the base housing here at the base I'm stationed at. So, Jared, you're in the armed forces? We'll wait for a response on that. But that's very interesting. That we got someone here from the armed forces. I hope that we don't have the FBI and the CIA on here too. But no, what a diverse crowd that we have here. And
Air
Dennis,
Force.
I was going to
At
talk
the
to.
Air Force.
Oh, really? Oh
Yeah,
my God.
nice.
So that means he's up really early too.
That's why he's listening to us in the morning.
I just hope he's not listening to us like when he's flying one of those jet fighters or something. And
Yeah, eyes on the road.
yeah, yeah. Keep your eyes on the road, your hands upon the wheel. Who's that, guys?
Roadhouse Blues.
Bye.
The Doors.
Yeah, actually, Jim Morrison's going to be a guest on the show next week.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. We're gonna dig him up. But Dennis, I was going to talk to you about this article. I was going to talk to you about an article, and I was going
Uh-oh.
to do it, and you probably would have talked me out of it. This was about 3 weeks ago, and you know how I had my wild CBS Apple thing? I was watching crude when crude was going down, and I was just thinking, okay, crude, oil, energy. If they're pounding crude and the oil stocks definitely didn't respond in kind, but if they're pounding crude, there has to be a reason where's energy going to come from? And I was thinking about solar plays, and then we had Gordon Johnson on, and he heavily talked me out of he talked me out of my position. He was just so bearish those things that I didn't do a thesis, but I don't know. I just think these solar stocks. I mean, I know that they have crazy valuations and stuff, but we're gonna eventually need to get energy from somewhere else besides oil. And I just kind of like these solar stocks, but they're just so crazy and it's such crazy valuations. But you know
We're gonna
what?
start mining asteroids now. Isn't that the new thing? They're gonna go up there and start mining asteroids. You got to get, invest in some companies, maybe like Lockheed Martin or something. They'll become energy. So they get up there and they send their rocket ships up there to mine those asteroids. There's
Yeah,
lots of minerals. That's where all the minerals came from on Earth. I'll give you a little, physics lesson here. Get up there in that asteroid belt. There's probably all kinds of good stuff up there that we can burn.
wow. No, that's it. We'll see. I mean,
That's interesting, Dennis.
yeah, boy, we're really in outer
We're
space
reaching
today.
a little
Yeah,
bit
but
here,
hey,
but so Lockheed Martin's your new energy play. That's my prediction.
well, First Solar. Can I change my stock of the year from ONVO to First Solar? Or is
You're
it?
going to First
If you
Solar.
want.
You're gonna bail on JDOT.
Oh man.
Really?
I
I'm
feel
sticking
bad.
with you, JDOT. You can see who's with you because I'm sticking with you on the ONVO. Joel's bailing. He's already bailing. The day trader that he is, he already wants to take his 20-cent gain and run for the hills.
Fair weather fan.
Well, I mean, come on. I'm getting bullish these things. You guys gotta look at that. This thing is this First Solar is. Do you think they have the 300 calls listed yet? I mean, that was the high back.
You want to go those deep OTMs, eh?
I got a story about this one, and I don't know if you ever met my buddy Brian that I was trading with him back in 2008, and he was kind of a new trader, and he was trading this thing like 100 shares, and I kept on telling him, it had this run up, and it was just like one of these things like this thing goes up every day, I gotta buy it. And he bought the thing, I think it was like at 240,
Oh,
and before, I mean, this was on a day trade. And before he knew it, I mean, he was down. He was down like 20 points. He was
ah,
down like down $2,000, and he looked at me, and I'm like, hey, I have no idea what you should, don't look at me. And it went from something. It went like 240, then it was like 220, and then it went like to 210.
oh,
I mean, this thing
oh,
was just crazy, and I looked at it and I said, "Man, it just dropped 30 points." I go, if it rallies back 15, I maybe try and get out, and it did. It just had a little bit of a bounce, and I think he ended up still losing like $1,500 on the trade. But after that, I mean, it hit. He got out at like 215, and then it just kept on going.
Just
But
kept puking.
yeah, so there's a lot of people probably still stuck long
Oh,
this
oh
thing.
yeah.
But look at that base. It's forming just a multi-year base. So time to write an article on solar stocks.
He likes solar. Joel is getting bullish the solar.
You know what else I wanted to talk to you about? And I know there's is there some stuff going on with the auto companies today? Are they?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Brent, could you give us a little update on that?
We
Enlighten us.
we did just get Chrysler same store sales, or excuse me, retail sales for December. That was up 5.7%. Chrysler is always the first to report these numbers. Usually get Ford around 9, and then usually get GM right at 10 a.m.
I don't know who was asking us in the chat room about Ford here, and if they thought that it would it got a little overdone because Ford and GM went in opposite directions here for quite some time. Ford got a couple upgrades and stuff, but or excuse me, GM got the upgrades and Ford didn't. But someone was sticking their nose out here at this $15 level, and
Holding
we
it up.
yep, holding it up, holding. Look at these multiple lows here. They started out at like right around 15, and the high freaks jumped in at 15.10, and then the next five lows in a row were between 15.22 and 15.28. You finally got the boost yesterday. You're breaking above the double top at 15.43 to 15.45. Still don't think it's too late to get in this thing. I think you could easily see the 16. Then you got the big gap to fill, but I don't know. Do you think this thing is maybe if the market stays strong and everything, maybe work its way back up to that 1720 level?
1550 is a big number. There is a guy selling some stock there too. Not a ton of stock, but 700 or 70,000 shares, which might build actually. I tend to think there's probably more than that hidden there because he had one, two, three tops in the day after the big sell-off. 3 days in a row, we topped off right at 1550 on the kisser. So that's a big level. We need to get above there. We are trading a nickel above there right now here in the pre-market, but I want to see it open above there. Obviously in the regular session and start to give it some gas, get up to 1560. Then you're right, Joel. Then it maybe starts to open up. The only thing,
Over
obviously, a little bit of overhead supply up there because there's a lot of people underwater in this one.
And we're going to have to just in a few minutes here. We're going to have Rob Friesen, who's the CEO of Bright Trading, a very experienced pair trader, and just looks for a lot of seasonalities here. But here's a pair that probably people got smoked on. I mean, because the GM, it
Yeah,
held itself
yeah.
at the 40, 42 level, or excuse, been finding a lot of resistance just under 42, while Ford sold off a couple bucks here. So I'm gonna have to ask him if his pair traders got caught in that at all. Multiple highs for General Motors up near the $42 level. 41.85 was a high that you had, and also about 41.85 on the twice it hit that level. So that's the all-time high. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But we'll definitely have to get Rob's opinion that spread trade.
Yeah, and speaking of Rob, he's asking, when are you calling? So I guess
Okay.
we'll take a quick break here. 2 minute break. We'll get Rob on the line.
Okay. We're going on hold. Welcome back, traders and investors. We have a very special guest on today, Rob Friesen, President and COO of Bright Trading. 20 years of experience trading pairs and being a seasonal trader. Rob, everyone's worried we had a down day yesterday. What do you make of it?
Well, one day doesn't make a trend, so let's just take it in perspective. For example, the Trader's Almanac talks about allowing for a small cap correction on the first day of the year, and that's a pretty regular event. Um, but yet, in context, November through January are the best 3 months of the year, and they really favor small caps. The January effect in general favors small caps. So, how does one day of a correction in that area indicate a complete direction for the market? I don't think it does. I don't think you can read into one day. And I'm not a seasoned bull that says we have to go up forever. I think you always have to look at the risks and the conditions that surround it. But really, the January effect starts already halfway through December, and even the Santa Claus rally and things like that kind of get blurred in some advanced money that's informed that positions themselves ahead of it, and really, the whole 3 months have to be looked at, not just one day.
So basically, one day you're just shrugging off yesterday's sell-off. You don't think this is going to be a trend to But you were saying to me yesterday, what if it's like, what if we're down like the whole first week? Does that matter?
Well, the first 5 days are really the indicator. Okay, the
Okay.
first 5 days say, as the first 5 days go, so goes the year. Is really what people are looking at. I would say it's more industry specific, that you really have to watch the rotation and the industries that money is coming out of or going into during these first 5 days, and take that more into perspective rather than just how the market finishes the 5 days. But it is the January barometer. The whole month is probably more significant than the first 5 days even. And with that, you have in the S&P, for example, you have an 84.6% probability that if January finishes on an up note, that the year is on an up note. And I think that's something where a longer sample makes more sense than one day or even 5 days. But there isn't any stats to say that how January, the first trading day of January goes, is going to dictate the year or the month. But the first 5 days, have played into it. The Santa Claus rally, which is the last 5 days of the previous year, the first two of the new year, those 7 trading days, they dictate a little bit. So if Santa fails to come, then we usually have a bad spell the next year. So there's stats like that, but we're
Now,
really
do you
watching.
guys are you guys all at Bright Trading, and a lot of your traders there, and obviously I'm a Bright Trader too. Are a lot of your traders follow all these stats, and do they like back test all these and are making like obviously market calls and making trades off based on these stats?
Absolutely. I'll give you an example. Something that we were working on in the BTM. One of our traders, presented some of the stocks that he'd put together, but it's a trade that's been done by hedge funds, institutions, sophisticated traders for years. And it's really, top performers, bottom performers. You take a look at screening with a bunch of filters for your top performers, and really it's a fade of things that have been excessive for 2013, and a rotation into things that have been discounted in 2013, and it ties in with tax loss selling and the 30-day rule, things like that. So there is a reason behind things. We've talked on this show before about the turn of the month effect,
Right.
and why that actually works. You see, to find a technical pattern is one thing, but to understand why that technical pattern should work, or why any type of seasonal pattern should work, that gives it more credibility. It's not sort of airy fairy. It's like, you could back test for anything and, come up with, oh, well, this looks like a pattern, but to understand why the pattern works. So with turn of the month effect and end of month, beginning of the month seasonality, that's due to payroll deposits. And as long as we have a structure, if everybody's freelance in the whole world and nobody has, a corporate job or a government job or whatever, it could change. But as long as there's the structure that we have now, which most of the world adopts, there's payroll deposits, and based on that regular event mid-month and end of the month, we do see a positive bias that we can exploit. So when we go into, the best 3 months of the year, November, December, and January, there's a reason for it. When we go into the best 6 months of the year, which is November through April, there's a reason for it. There's a reason that small caps get favored. There's a reason that, after, they say sell in May and go away, why there's a bit of a flight to quality. Blue chips tend to hold up better. Small caps sometimes get sold. There's a regular seasonality to so much of what we do. And why not tap into it? Why not understand it, follow it, and exploit it? And here's the problem with traders, is they want a formula, and they want to just have it real simple that they can just do it and it was going to work. They don't understand it's living in the percentages. So if I was, for example, betting on a rotation from top performers to bottom performers, and I exploited that in the form of two baskets, one long basket and one short basket, I would have to be aware that not every stock I choose would work out. I also have to be aware that perhaps this year my baskets don't work out. So you have to define what you're willing to risk, and you have to have some expectation of what should work. So you have a risk to reward relationship, and you monitor, the event in the sense that what happens when it fails occasionally.
And interesting enough, just to expand on that point, actually, I was reading, you were in Traders Magazine last month there, and I was reading your article there, Rob, A Hedge for Everything, and you had one quote in there, which I actually have used on the show a couple of times. Great quote. You said, traders live in the percentages, they do not live in the absolutes. And that's kind of what you're talking about right now, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's in everything that we do. I mean, we just don't have guarantees. Like, here's an example from yesterday in our group. I said, if we sell off tomorrow, or, it was yesterday, if we sell off yesterday, and I said this at the beginning of the day, that our target would probably become the 5-day low. Well, we went within 3/4 of a point of the 5-day low. So as the market showed itself to have some weakness in the morning and was breaking below the previous day, the day before that, and the day before that, we anticipated a move down to the 5-day low. That's not predicting. That's anticipating what the next level of support would be, and why would we test it? Well, we were stuck in a bit of a range. This is now the first trading day of the year, which typically is a positive bias as money flows in. But you got to realize there's a lot of institutions that aren't back online yet until Monday or Tuesday of next week. So you're talking about a little bit of a vacuum here in terms of participation. Not everybody's online. There's
Right.
people that are gone this week that really are significant players, and they're not acting. They're not participating. They're not, the money and the payroll deposits are not going in yet. So there's this little bit of a vacuum.
Huh, that's an
And
interesting point. To move on to a little bit more of a specific pair trade, I've just been kind of noticing as of late the Ford GM spread. is kind of, I guess, the way you look at it, it's got kind of blown out here. Some weakness in Ford here, and it's starting to come back a little bit. GM holding up near all-time highs. Can you just give us a little perspective on that trade? Are your traders active in it, or what? What's your outlook on this spread?
Um, with groups that have only a few stocks to choose from, you have to be aware of that sort of competitive relationship. It happens with the Home Depot Lowe's, it happens with the Coke Pepsis, it happens with the GM Fords, and that can be either great trading or divergence between the two stocks based on competitive advantages and things like that. This particular spread, GM Ford, has certainly become an outlier condition for as related to the last number of years. So it got excessive in terms of GM's performance over Ford, and there could be an opportunity for mean reversion. The pullback that has happened so far may not be enough to say that it's turned from a directional move one way to starting to come back the other way. So I would be cautious in that if you take the trade now, let's say you're short GM and you buy Ford based on the excessive performance of GM, that you do set a stop relationship there based on the most recent highs that have been established. I don't think that you need to be a superhero when something's making brand new highs relative to a 1 year or 2 year or more time frame. You don't have to step in front of that freight train. You can let the spread prove it to you that it's changing directions and use most recent outlier conditions as a stop out point.
Or you could
Nobody
also
wants to really live in the stop loss world relative to spreads, because the whole purpose of spreading is to be hedged and to take advantage of things. But you also have to be realistic that whatever caused GM Ford to diverge for a 2-month period may still be in play, and the money can stay, or the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay liquid, right? So you have to have your boundaries and have your parameters that you trade it with. But it has had excessive performance. There is opportunity in that trade. Some guys are working it, and it's an opportunity for people. But realize that it's not chopping back and forth. It's had a very directional move for 2 months straight.
so
So
you've
do you guys play it that way too? Like I know sometimes in some of your seminars you talk about pair trades that are trendy, like different trendy pairs. Is this one of those examples where sometimes you can actually play the trend of the pair actually getting wider, the spread, as opposed to narrower?
Yeah, I mean, you have to put it in two camps. Is it characterized by being mean reverting or choppy, or is it characterized by being trendy? And for the longest time, the GM Ford spread, flopped back and forth around its moving averages, or worked really well between the Bollinger Bands, or
Right.
all the different indicators that people use, and it was reverting on a ratio basis consistently. And then in November, it took off and broke outside of that and continued to go in a divergent manner. So it's become extremely trendy. There is first of all, the need for a mean reverting trader to adjust, and then trend traders could pick up on that and exploit that. And right now, it would be, if you were a trader and you had two hats, one was a mean reverting hat and one was a trend trading hat, you would need right now to have the trend trading hat on, be respective of that. And there is an opportunity that the same way that it diverged out, they came apart, they could come back together in the same fashion. So eventually mean revert, but it would probably do it in a trending fashion. So the key right now is to have your trend trading hat on and be respective of what has happened there.
Well, you've convinced me. I'm shorting Ford and going along GM.
There's two plays there, right? That's what makes a market. But no, I mean it's an outlier condition. We don't know that it's turned around for sure yet. But if it starts to come back, the trade would be short GM and long Ford.
Okay, and what about I mean, and you talk because you're talking about revert mean reversion and trades going one direction. I mean, probably a great example of that would be the Apple Google spread. I mean, where at one point weren't those stocks at par at
Year and a half ago, yeah, they
yeah,
were
those
both
stocks,
around 680. And now
right.
you look and Google's where we're up at 1115 and Apple's 553. So holy cow, man! If you could have been on top of that, saying I think Google's going to start eating some of Apple's lunch. Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you could go back and look at the see. Here's the thing, is you take Apple and Microsoft, go back to like say 2006 or so, where things really became divergent there, and Apple outperformed Microsoft by huge margins for years. You could say, okay, it makes a pair because they're competitors. They both have computers and stuff like that. It makes a catalyst trade for Apple because it also has these other things. So there is a little bit of similarity, but there's a lot of arguments for one stock to outperform the other. And if people are going to get into pair trading, the thing that they really have to, answer is this. Why do you believe that one stock should outperform the other stock? And especially your long stock, the stock that you want to own, why should it outperform your hedge or your short? And if you go back to that Apple Microsoft, there was probably a lot of arguments for why Apple should do better than Microsoft into the future. And we saw that. I made a few presentations on that back then, so I remember exactly why I argued for Apple over Microsoft. And the same could be said for Apple versus Google, if in fact there's enough overlap there. There may be more arguments for why Facebook or competing with Google
Right.
should do this or that. So I'm not going to say one over the other, but I think that's a more similar pair choice than a Google Apple.
What about the Twitter, Facebook?
Yeah,
Is any
yeah.
of your traders trading
Yeah, we
those
had
two?
some traders working Twitter, Facebook. You know, when you get a new issue out, you have to be careful because there's not as much history there, and also you have
Right.
to look at the floats and see what's actually trading, what's the turnover on the float, and things like that. And initially, this trade could be repeated many times over with a lot of things, and that is short the Titan and long the upcomer. So Facebook had been around for a couple of years already and more mature. So short Facebook, long Twitter. Well, the thing you have to understand is, you have a lot of risk with that new issue, and you saw that recently with the correction. But that was the trade initially. Is if you saw opportunity, you saw some strength in Twitter, long Twitter, short Facebook. Now that trade is somewhat mean reverted.
Okay, so
And just
you
go ahead.
you mentioned like this GM4 trade has been going one way. Obviously, the Apple Google spread's been going one way. Is there anything that you have on your radar now where there has been a well defined trend, but it's now showing? Well, first of all, where is it, and what are you using? Are you using a specific ratio? Are you using a moving average of the spread? What's something that may be turning here for a spread of from a long term trend, and then also what do you use to make that determination?
Well, I mean, I recommend that people that are new to pairs. I mean, this is the problem is getting. I'm not in the recommendation business to the retail public anyway, so I got to be careful.
Okay.
But you gotta find stuff that's either going to be choppy and kind of staying in a range. And one pair that I've used as an example for a lot of years is the relationship between Ace and Chubb and Travelers. Those three stocks, whichever combination you want to look at with them, they're all fairly similar in market cap and business models. Ace is a reinsurer, Chubb is primary, but for the most part, they stay together really well over the long sample. So you could go back to pick up a weekly chart or a monthly chart, whatever. I mean, you're going to see that they stay in roughly a $7 to $8 range historically for many, many, many years. And that's more of an example of a mean reverting pair that, yes, trades in cycles. Yes, trades around a moving averages very well. Yes, has very similar length from, moves like the bottom of the range to the top of the range. There's so many patterns that you can find. There's so many repeating trades. And that's the thing. You want something compoundable. You don't want to ask me for one-off trades where,
Correct.
okay, at the moment, there's some opportunity here, but you know what? If you miss the window, you're done. Well, you go to Ace Chubb, you could trade it over and over again. You could trade it every day if you wanted to. So right now, Ace is at a bit of a premium to Chubb, and there may be an opportunity for that to cycle back down in keeping with what it normally does. And within that, see, it's not, Joel, it's not just the move, say, from $7 back down to $3. It's the move of 85 cents every day. Within that 85 cents that it moves every single day as an average, maybe a trader can pick up 20 or 30
Okay.
cents. So from a move from $7 down to $3, that could be a one-time trade versus, 250 trading days a year, they're making 20 or 30 cents a day off the same spread. Now that's something that you can actually build a pro forma for in your business and say, my yield on this particular pair is so much. And if I have 10 pairs like that, I can actually make a bit of a living here.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Trading the
somebody
range.
says to me, what should I expect from a pair? I say, you should build a plan to make one ATR a week. And I don't know if you guys have talked on the show about ATR, but ATR is average true range. So it's a measuring stick of volatility. So you should make 1 unit of volatility per week on an average. If the volatility of Ace Chubb is 85 cents, then I should plan on making 85 cents 100 per week as an average. So that means I could make it all in one trade, I could make it in 3 trades, I could make it in 5 trades. But build a plan according to your personality, your bank account or trading account, and your skill level and the nature of the pair. If you don't identify the nature and align yourself with that, you're going to be constantly frustrated.
Right. So making a trade plan according to your personality. Just one last thing here before we move on. Uh, the uh, the marijuana stocks have been all over the news here and making some big moves with the changes in Colorado. Do you have anybody doing any spreading among those stocks?
Yeah, there's like 3 stocks you can trade in that arena, and some of them have been working it. These again, this is a news catalyst type of thing, a
Okay.
change, maybe change in society and things like that, and some opportunity. There's I guess 2 stocks I think that people can pair together and work, but yeah, I don't have enough information on
Two,
that.
two,
I don't
two.
follow it.
Yeah, too news driven. Okay, well we've had Rob Friesen on, the CEO of Bright Trading, experience in pair trading, also seasonality trading. Rob, thanks a lot for having us. Thanks for coming on the show today. We'd like to get you back on here maybe in February and get your appraisal of the month of January and the January effect. So thanks again, Rob, and have a good trading day.
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks, Rob.
Okay, we're gonna move things over here to the Chum Man, Jason Shub now, filling in for Mighty Joe Young with the morning headlines. Hey, Jason, how you doing?
Good, Joel. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. 2 Facebook users are taking the company to court over claims it mines private messages for data that is then sold to third parties. The lawsuit filed earlier this week alleges that Facebook scans messages between users labeled private for links and other information that can be sold to advertisers, marketers, and data aggregators. According to the suit, this is done without proper disclosure or the consent of the users. The suit was filed by Matthew Campbell and Michael Hurley in a U.S. District Court in Northern California. They want the suit to be made a class action and suggest that as many as 166 million Facebook users in the U.S. would be eligible to join. Other tech firms, including Google, have faced lawsuits over the collection of user information. Facebook previously settled a class action over targeted advertising for $20 million. The NSA has spent nearly $80 million trying to build a quantum supercomputer that could crack virtually all types of data encryption, according to new documents leaked by Edward Snowden. The Washington Post reports that the secretive agency could use the computer exponentially more powerful than standard computers to hack banking, medical, and government records around the world. The government has named the $79.7 million top secret project taking place in a lab in College Park, Maryland, Penetrating Hard Targets. So far, the government appears to be no further than scientists attempting to build the megacomputer in public. The computers could in theory lead to rapid advancements in the development of artificial intelligence. General Mills said it has stopped using genetically modified organisms in its flagship Cheerios breakfast cereal amid growing opposition to the use of such ingredients. The Minneapolis-based company said in a blog post Thursday night that it has already begun using non-GM cornstarch and non-GM sugar in Cheerios. It said its oats, the primary ingredient, is a crop that is not grown from genetically modified seeds. The change only affects original Cheerios, not other varieties like Honey Nut Cheerios, according to General Mills. Ford Motor is testing a solar-powered electric car that's easier to recharge than the typical plug-in, though the cost of solar panels would potentially add thousands of dollars to an already expensive vehicle. Using, quote, a day's worth of sunlight captured by rooftop solar panels, the automaker said the C-Max solar energy concept will mirror the efficiency of the C-Max energy plug-in vehicle currently available on dealer lots. The energy plug-in can go 620 miles on a tank of gas, 21 of those in electric-only mode. And like the energy plug-in, the solar-powered concept also has a charge port and can be recharged via cord and plug-in if needed. Ford plans to show the C-Max solar energy concept next week at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. YouTube will demonstrate Ultra HD video streaming also at Vegas's CES, according to reports. Ultra HD, known as 4K because it has nearly 4,000 horizontal pixels, has been touted as the next big thing in consumer electronics. Many current movie cameras already film above 4K resolutions, and other electronics manufacturers including Sony, LG, and Toshiba have also launched Ultra HD TVs, several with giant screens. The advantage is that it can deliver higher resolutions at a bit rate that isn't beyond your connection and reduce the amount of data needed to stream regular HD videos by about half, potentially reducing buffering. By 2015, you'll be surprised every time you see that spinning wheel, YouTube spokesman was quoted as saying. Samsung said a 110-inch TV that has 4 times the resolution of a standard HD TV is going on sale for about $150,000 in South Korea. The launch this past Monday of the giant television set reflects global TV makers' move toward the Ultra HD TVs, as manufacturing bigger TVs using OLED proves too costly. Last year, Samsung and rival LG, the world's top 2 TV makers, touted OLED as the future of TV. Their screens are ultra-thin and can display images with enhanced clarity and deeper color saturation. Beanie Babies creator Ty Warren is asking a judge for probation instead of prison time after pleading guilty to tax evasion. His attorneys say that the Chicago native was a product of an unhappy family, but he rose to lead a multi-billion-dollar company. The filing notes that Warner has already paid his $50 million civil penalty, has paid over $1 billion in federal taxes, and donated nearly $140 million in cash and toys to charity. He could get 5 years in prison when the judge rules later this month.
I wonder if he has a Beanie Baby like with a jailbird outfit or something for like to take that with him when he goes into Clink.
I hope so. He needs something with him.
Did you have Beanie Babies, Chubbs? I mean, I know that
Actually, my older brother, a couple years older than me, he used to collect them back when they were really hot, thinking they would eventually one day cash in on them. But so far, I think they're either in a garbage bag somewhere in the garage or in the garbage.
Okay, all right. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay. And on this day in 1993, the Buffalo Bills took a 41-38 overtime victory over the Houston Oilers in an AFC wildcard game. The Bills trailed 35-3 shortly after halftime, leading many Bills fans headed home out of the chilly western New York weather. 4 Frank Reich touchdown passes and an
Oh.
overtime later, Buffalo completed what is still the biggest comeback in league history. The Bills made it to their 3rd consecutive Super Bowl that year, but lost to the Dallas Cowboys. I've read a couple of reports that say the Packers are also having trouble selling their playoff tickets this weekend for a wild card game against the 49ers. They say it could be the coldest game ever recorded, even colder than the Ice Bowl back in the was that 67 or 68?
Well, I also heard. Actually, I was gonna throw a trivia question out of who the quarterback for the Bills was in that game because he is rumored to be the offensive coordinator for the Lions if they do bring in Ken Wiesenhut. But
Really?
yeah, you blew that one up there, Chubbs.
Well, maybe you can throw out who the starting quarterback was that he replaced.
Uh, Jim Kelly,
Correct.
and where did he go to school?
You
College.
got me there.
Miami, Michigan, or Michigan State?
I'm gonna say Miami.
Yeah, I threw a bone out to you there. So
Quarterback, you right?
exactly. So okay, Chubbs. Any more trivia or news for us?
Nope.
Or
That's it for today.
can we move on to the Brandster, who's just raring to go here? He's chomping at the bit.
Rawr.
He's still got his gloves on, but I'm
My
not
hands
sure
are
about
so
that.
cold.
But he is wearing a very, very stylish Red Wing sweat
Oh,
coat.
thank you, sir.
Yeah, I'm complimenting you. It doesn't exactly go with your green and black coat, but you know,
Yeah.
we won't mention that. But what do you got for us, there, Brandster?
Can't always be matching. A nice Christmas gift from my girlfriend's mom, so thanks out there, Mammy. I'm going to hit you with a couple of the top upgrades, downgrades from the session. We did talk about these earlier. If anyone's just recently tuning in, you can hear about a lot of the top upgrades, downgrades a little bit earlier on the show. We talk about them. We go into a little technical analysis of them. But I'll give you a quick review. Some of the top upgrades this morning. We did have an upgrade on shares of Sirius XM Satellite at Evercore firm there, moving the rating up from equal weight to overweight. Janney Capital upgrading shares of MetLife to buy. Raymond James upgrading shares of Finisar, one of those optical plays, Foxtrot November Sandy Romeo from outperform to strong buy. Raymond James really liking that one. BMO Capital upgrading Maxim Integrated. This is a play in the semi space to outperform. And then Citigroup this morning upgrading, downgrading a number of these utility names. DTE upgraded to buy this morning by Citigroup. Shares of Cadence Systems, ticker here is CDNS, Charlie Delta November Sandy. Stock is up. Let me see here. Up about 3.5%. Cadence getting an upgrade from Needham, firm raising the rating from hold to buy. And finally, on the upgrade side of things, Bank of America upgrading shares up Armstrong Worldwide, Alpha Whiskey India from neutral to buy. For whatever reason this morning, a ton more downgrades than upgrades. Take it for what it's worth, but a lot more on the downgrade side this morning. We did get a downgrade on shares of GE at Oppenheimer firm, lowering the rating from outperform to perform, also removing a $29 price target. Shares of GE currently trading around 27, just below 27.50. Sprint getting a downgrade by Stifel firm, cutting that stock to a sell. And then getting back to Citigroup, ED, ETR, that's Energy, and Exelon, that's EXC, getting downgrades. Consolidated Edison getting a downgrade to neutral, and then Entergy and Exelon getting downgraded to sell. And then also at Bank of America, Exelon getting a downgrade to an underperform rating. Two major firms not liking shares of Exelon this morning. BMO Capital downgrading shares of ARM Holdings from outperform to market perform, and then Wedbush downgrading shares of Jamba Juice from outperform to neutral. Few more here. Like I said, there's a ton this morning. Goldman Sachs downgrading shares of Joy Global, putting on a sell rating, downgrading that one from neutral. RBC downgrading shares of Micron from outperform to sector perform, and I believe we do have some Micron earnings coming up the end of next week or maybe the week after. I'm going to have to get back to you on that one. And lastly, we have Janney Capital downgrading shares of Prudential to neutral this morning. Got a couple of notable price targets here. We have Stiefel Nicholas raising the price target on shares of Yahoo from $40 to $49. Yahoo shares currently just under. Actually, we did cross $40 this morning.
Wow.
Yeah, so Stiefel sees about $9 there. Nice little buy if you want to get in right around here. And we had a huge move lower in Yahoo yesterday. Sold off into heading into the afternoon session. A nice spike down there, but then looks like it wanted to hold that 39.50 level. What do you think about Yahoo here, Joel?
Looks like could be reversing a trend here. You made a recent multi-year high here. I haven't been having this thing on my radar at all here. 41.05. You hit that on the 26th, and then what you had followed by was four lower lows. Not by much though. When you look at yesterday, 40.49 and 40.50. Those were the lows from Tuesday and Thursday. Did get the sell-off. Did close below there, trading up 57 cents here in the pre-market. Let me get a look at the pre-market high. Pre-market high is just a tad higher here at 40.30, but the key level here for shares of Yahoo is definitely the double top here at 40.50. Should be a formidable resistance today, but could be poised to break that trend of four lower highs, and that $39 level, we got down to $39.31 yesterday. Did get a nice bounce off it. I think that $39 level will be protected over the next 3 or 4 trading sessions. You had a low at 38.82 on December 18th, and then if you go back a little bit earlier in December, you had 3 lows in a row between 38.92 and 39 even. That's the level. 39. Trade the range in Yahoo, 39 to 40.5.
TradeTheRange.com.
That's right.
Just one more this morning. An analyst at Topeka
Topeka.
boosting the target on Amazon 405 to 485. The Topeka analyst saying that based on data from fourth quarter peak day sales over the past few years, thinks that Amazon will likely report material upside to the street's sales estimates for the Q4 2013. This Topeka analyst getting a little bit more bullish on shares of Amazon this
Is he the high guy on the street?
Just a sec.
Take a look on that. Interesting technical pattern here in shares of Amazon. Really a volatile stock here, but really going back over the last, let's call it 7-8 trading sessions. You've been trading in a range between 392.45. We hit that on Monday. The upper end of the range has been that all-time high at 405.63, just kind of bouncing around like a yo-yo in between those two levels. Now you look at this period of consolidation that you had earlier in December. It actually lasted probably 3 or 4 more sessions than this Amazon one did, and then of course it resolved the consolidation to the upside here. So got a nice formation here, a break below this 392, the lower end of the boundary here. Look out, we could be seeing 380. We take out that all-time high, 405.63. The sky's the limit for the company that doesn't make any money.
And that's a good call, Joel. We do have 485 as the new street high target. We did have Evercore yesterday coming out with a $480 price target. But this morning, Topeka out with a $485 target, makes them the new street high analyst on shares of Amazon. Couple of items for heads up today. We do have auto sales coming in. We talked about Chrysler retail sales a little bit earlier. I'm waiting on Ford currently. Usually we get Ford between 9 and 9:30, and then GM is usually almost always out at 10 a.m. Talking about that pair trade in Ford and GM. Good interview with Rob Friesen. And then also, we would normally have our payroll figures out this morning, but due to the New Year's holiday, they will not be out till next Friday. So heads up, next Friday we'll be getting a reading on non-farm payrolls, private sector payrolls. Don't forget about the manufacturing sector, and then also we will get that all-important reading on the unemployment rate. Right now, Street economists looking for non-farm figure at 195,000, also private sector at 195,000. This will be the reading for December. So closing up the jobs market for the year 2013.
Should
And
should be a good number. Should be an interesting week. See some jockeying in positions ahead of that, and certainly had a nice move off the last number. We'll see if that can be replicated.
yeah, I think we moved. I think the unemployment rate moved down from 7.3 or 7.2 to 7, and it looks like the street's sticking at 7 right now. They don't see any movement in this December reading. Just wanted to sort of promote everybody to scroll down if you are on the Options House page and enter the chat. The chat is quite fun in the morning. Get a little engagement. If anyone has any questions that they'd like Joel or Dennis to take a look at, if you have any issues you want to get a quick technical analysis on, or if when we're doing some of these interviews, if you have any good questions, for example, if you had any questions for Rob this morning, don't hesitate to chat in and drop some questions. Also, just wanted to give a shout out to the crew over at Options House providing 150 commission-free trades. Scroll to the top of the Options House page. You see that banner. If you sign up through this page, you do get 150 commission-free trades. That's the right way to say it. And that is just like a ton of trades, if you ask me, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. So we're gonna move on here with Shaky Jake with our movers here. Jake, what you got on the radar?
Well, I do see Alabama shares spiking down after that
Oh,
loss to
no.
Oklahoma.
Uh-oh.
Oh, man. Wow. What a game.
Alabama shares down 15% this morning, folks.
Wonder what Nick Saban shares are down. Jeez.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's actually on a flight to Texas right now.
Yeah, right. They already kicked him out. Oh, man. Yeah, so we do have a couple stocks moving this morning. I want to hop into a few of those. A lot of it is ratings fueled. But, speaking of fuel, getting things started, I want to look at FireEye. That's Foxtrot, Echo, Yankee, Echo. For those of you guys following along on your own charts, they acquired a company yesterday, a security company. Let me get the name of that real quick. I don't remember.
Mandiant, I
Mandiant,
believe
is
is
that
the
what it's called?
pronunciation.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember reading about that. So they bought it. It was 106 million in cash, 21.5 million shares, and then some options is what they bought the company for. The total consideration came to a little over $1 billion. But the company also released some increased fourth quarter guidance, and between that and the acquisition, the street started getting really excited, bidding the stock up over 20% after the close yesterday. And then we had a Nomura note this morning saying that the Mandiant deal is definitely positive for the company, praising the deal itself, saying it was very accretive to the company's core business and it would help them greatly expand. So it looks like the street's really liking this acquisition. Shares were up as much as 23%. They're above that $50 level. They closed yesterday at 41.13. So they've really, they're up over 9 points right now. Joel, what do you think of FireEye? A recent IPO, a lot of strength right now, big acquisition, raising guidance.
Wow.
Analysts loving it.
52. We've hit that in the pre-market. It's hitting 52. I've had a minor pullback to the $50 level, 50.10. So 50 to 52 if you want to hop in this wild child. What's the sector again?
They are like internet security. So
Internet
they're getting a lot of attention. Obviously, anytime there's one of these, it's real-time protection products to enterprises and governments. It provides malware protection products, include software-based appliances and web applications. So, I mean, with all this news of these repeated hack attacks, I mean, any public company that's in the security space, I think is going to get a lot of attention because, companies are having to invest more and more into their defenses. I know Cloudflare gets a lot of attention for this too. They're not publicly traded yet. I don't actually know if they're owned by a major company or not, but Cloudflare is a big name in the space. And wow, FireEye is up 25% now. Really
is there
rallying.
any other publicly traded companies in this space or not? I'm really not that familiar with this sector.
I'm trying to think. There is one more.
I was thinking maybe something like Symantec.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
that's
It's just
what I was
off the top of
thinking.
my head right
Yeah,
now.
Symantec would be kind of sort of a peer, but I think they're a little bit of a laggard at this point because they're not exactly the bleeding edge of the technology there. But huge day for FireEye, up over $51 now, rallying hard as we get close to that open. Big news for them.
Wow, 52 pre-market high. I mean, I guess that's the only thing you can really keep an eye on.
I'm looking at Proof Point right now. That's Papa Foxtrot, Papa Tango. Don't see any movement in it this morning, but it looks like it's a little more in line with this company than which one did I say before?
Symantec,
Symantec.
which
yeah,
is
Symantec.
SYMC.
That's been around for a while though.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we'll see. This P. You said
PFPT.
PFPT. Let's see if you're looking. Proof Point has been proving its point in the market here, rallying really nicely here. Only trading up 43 cents in the pre-market. Monster run in this stock over the last month of 28 to 34. So we'll see. We'll see if it can catch up here. If you're looking to play, something else in the space here in internet security.
And we've got a couple other stocks running up this morning too. Another one I want to take a look at is SiriusXM. Caught an upgrade from Evercore Partners to an overweight rating. They also bumped the price target to 450. So I just want to take a look at that real quick. This is a lower price stock, so it does move quite a bit. They're up about 2.3%. Last trade I'm seeing is at about 359. It looks like. So still a little bit below that price target from Evercore. Evercore's previous price target was 390, so it still hadn't reached that point. But it looks like that report's getting Sirius XM running this morning. Joel, any thoughts on the satellite radio company here?
Three opened at 359, currently trading at 360 here. A gap up of a mighty nickel here. I guess it's a gap here in the stock. Trades a ton of volume. Like to see it get some follow through here through 360 pretty quickly here. 361, 362, and 363 were four consecutive highs you had back just last week. Excuse me, 363. I think I said four. So that's a major area of resistance here. So I think I'd be more inclined to try and pick this up on a pullback to the 350 area, 350 close, 352 high. Then I would be chasing it going into this resistance. But this is a heavily traded issue. I know there's a lot of rebate traders out there that are still trading this issue, and they'll be trying to identify perhaps if there's some size here at that 361, 362 level. But at this point, opened up at 59, hit 60, and now getting a little bit of a pullback. Just also to bring up real quick here, Apple Computer has finally filled that gap from the second announcement of the China Mobile. We have hit 550.79 here in the session, starting to get a little bit of a bounce off that, but Apple is entering some dangerous territory here. Under 550 has been consolidating between 550 and 570 now leading on the lower end of that quadrant.
Gentlemen, I am just getting Ford December U.S. auto sales figures. Check out that chart. Moved about 20 cents lower. Now it's down about 15 cents. Coming in worse than expected, up 1.7% for December, and the street was looking for a gain of about 4.3%. That's not great news out of Ford.
Bidding it down a little bit here. It was roughly flat. Looks like we were in the red slightly up. Now we're back in the green. Looks like it's recovering, but kind of bouncing around above that 1540 level.
Yeah, there was, Dennison mentioned there was some size in the book there at 1550. That seller got done at 1552. There's Ford opening up at the high print there, 1552. Did slide back down to 1533, now trading mid-range. So big range for Ford here early in the session. If you're hoping to get this thing back in the rally mode, you got to get back above the close at 1544.
With that, let's hop over to GM and see what General Motors is doing. Like Brent said, we are expecting General Motors numbers to come out at 10 a.m., but a lot of times when you see these other U.S. automakers leading into their numbers, it can be kind of a clue. I'm seeing General Motors trading down about 23 cents right now. They remain above the $40 level, but they were unable to hold 41. Joel, what are you thinking on General Motors here?
Well, two things here. One is that $41 level is huge, 41.04 to 41.06. Those are the highs on the last two trading sessions. Opened up at 40.92, hit 40.95, and then we've pulled back to the 40.50 level. So a mound of resistance here at 41. And Dennis is just pointing out here, and I know it's hard with all these different exchanges, but the New York guy did not get taken out at 15.50. New York high is 15.47. believe it or not. So you got a straight print on the three market, on the pre-market here at 1552, but that seller is still looming at the 1550 level.
Changing gears a little bit, I'd like to hop onto some of the movers to the downside. First up, I'd like to take a look at Sprint. That's just ticker Sandy there for anybody following along on their own charts. Shares are down about a little over 3.3%, actually nearing 3.4% now, about 35 cents. Kind of eyeing that $10 level. There was a downgrade from Stifel Nicholas this morning. They dropped it to a sell rating and a $7.50 price target, so quite a bit below the expected or where it is trading right now. Basically, they're just focusing on the company's M&A prospects, saying that there's doesn't seem to be a whole lot out there right now. A lot of the sentiment that's been sending shares up is on the prospect of either it getting acquired or being a merger target, and they're just saying that the prospects aren't that great right now. They say that it's at a structural disadvantage to Verizon and AT&T. So essentially saying that if they're not going to get acquired or merge with somebody, that they're going to not be doing so hot out there. And traders seem to be reacting, taking it close to that $10 level.
Yeah, it's had a nice run from 8 to over 11, and now just pulling back a little bit. Opened up at right around the $10 level and dipped here to 9.75. The low on the 26 was 9.79. So major support there, 9.75, 9.70, 9.79 level. Now you are back over $10 here. Anybody that shorted this under $10 here, now a little bit underwater. You need to get up to 10 and a quarter, 10.25 to fill the gap from yesterday's trading.
What do you think happens here if it manages to break below that $10 level? We're seeing a lot of downward pressure. We're sitting right above $10. I mean, one big seller could knock it down. I'm just wondering, do you think the floor falls out? Do you think it rallies there and picks up a bunch of buyers, taking it back above 10? What are you thinking there?
I think that now that you've traded down to 9.75 and now you've bumped back above the $10 level, I think you have a little bit of buyer's remorse here for people that just didn't stick a bid out under $10. Hasn't traded under $10 here in it's been a last 4 or 5 trading sessions here, so I think you get back under 10 and bids will thicken up all the way down to this 9.75 level. I think it'd be more apt to go up and fill the gap at 10 and a quarter than it would to come down and take out that 9.75 low.
Well, Joel, you did put out a report yesterday on Groupon, actually, saying it was nearing that important technical level of $12. Today, we are seeing it below that $12 level, bid down about 6 cents. There is a group of Groupon holders offering up about 13.8 million Class A common shares today. Looks like we've got a little bit of a lockup expiration going on here. So some shares flooding the market and taking it down below the or keeping it below the $12 level. Joel, what are you thinking here?
What is there? Is there? I mean, is it? Are they just taking it out to the market, to the free market?
Yep, looks like they're offering 13.8 million shares to the common market.
But just no particular price.
I'm not seeing a price right now. Let me dig around. I might be able to find one.
I mean,
I got anything either.
You know what? If I owned 13 million shares of Groupon here, and it's had to rally from under the $9 level up to 12 here, I'd be offering my shares too here. If you're looking for a continuation in this stock, I just think you got to get above the $12 level, get some closes above there. Kind of a battleground between the analysts when you're looking at Groupon. Goldman Sachs kind of bottom ticked it with a downgrade here. When it hit that 840 low, kind of rallied in their face in it, and then we rallied up yesterday, and then got an upgrade. I think can't think of what analyst it was, but North Point Capital or something like that, or Northland Capital.
Northland,
yep.
Yeah, Northland. Do they work out of the mall up here on the road on the lodge, or no? But $12 is the battleground here in shares of Groupon. I mean, if you're looking for a continuation of this $9, from the 9 to 12 area, $12 is critical. Now you have some people from the company selling stock, and I don't think they sell the stock when they think it's going up.
So the holder was a company called Living Social. I'm not sure if you guys heard of it. This was a shelf though, so that means that there's it's sort of at the holder's discretion as to when they want to sell these shares. So not seeing a price yet. But Groupon investors also dealing sort of digesting news of the close acquisition of what's that company, Jake?
It is
Dang it.
Ticket Monsters, who
Ticket.
they
Thank you,
bought.
sir.
They bought,
$260
yeah,
million.
260 million. And it's also important to note here that the Living Social stake, it was 260 million in cash and stock. Living Social is selling off those 13.8 million shares. The price isn't disclosed, but it looks like that's probably going to be happening today on the market.
Oh, really?
That represents roughly 2% of the company's float. So there's no specifics on when that's going to happen, but I mean, as we're watching the tape, I guess we'll see. But they're representing 2% of the company's float, so definitely something to watch there.
Yeah, I mean now if if the market absorbs it and still manages to stay up on the day or rally, I mean that would certainly signal a strength of the stock if it can absorb that much stock being thrown on the market, and it's going to be at the market today. That's
I'm not entirely sure about that. It looks like, I mean, it just looks like the market's reacting that way. We'll see. We'll see if we can get any details on that. If that's all going to happen
nice
today,
catch.
I'll talk to some of my guys and see if they can pick up anything out there.
Okay.
If we're talking strength, though, I think we have to talk some of the 3D printing names. They've been on an absolute tear. What is that? 7 sessions in a row 3D Systems has been up. Looks like 3D Systems may be eyeing that $100 level. It's right around $96 right now. Up almost. It was up as much as 1.9% the last time I looked. In the pre-market, we do have CES. That's the Consumer Electronics Show next week, and there's big expectations for 3D Systems and Stratasys, which is Sandy Yankee Sandy, to unveil some new consumer-facing 3D printers. Specifically, there's a lot of expectations coming out of MakerBot, which is one of the biggest names in consumer 3D printers. That's a company that Stratasys acquired, was it about 6 months ago. So lots of expectations for the Consumer Electronics Show, and the street's been bidding it up. They're real excited about these stocks and seeing more strength today.
Triple D did take out the pre-market high of 96, now trading at 96.44, making the high, and then we'll go with the other stocks here. Did I mess it up again? Yep, it's SSYS. Boy, I don't know. I forgot to take my pill this morning. Here we go. That's also the Stratasys is also making a new all-time high. Taking a look at that. The one that had the interesting technical formation to me was XONE. I got that one right. All that resistance at 62.50. Finally took it out. So breakout here in the 3D printing stocks. Also taking a look at the 3D. What are we going to call ONVO? It's the 3D health biotech play. That stock has been on the move. Organova Holdings sneaking back up to the $12 level. 12.05 was the high in yesterday's session. We've only gotten to 11.77, so let's see if some institutional sellers start ganging up on the stock here at the $12 level. Had a gap up to 12.40 after that level.
Organova is a fun one because it's like a mix of two of the most volatile sectors you'll find, a biotech and a 3D printing company. Reminds me a lot of Solar City when you get a mix of a solar company and an Elon Musk company. I feel like maybe we should just make a sample portfolio of all these hyper volatile stocks, and just make it the volatility portfolio. I don't know.
You know what it would be? It would be a 3D healthcare stock that is powered by solar.
Oh, yeah.
That would be.
And maybe they hold all their assets in gold.
That would be a negative thing, but
well, I don't know, not these days.
I just want to take a look. Yahoo here, trading up 65 cents in the pre-market, kind of came off that all-time high. Double top at 40, 49, 40, 50 is the lower we're looking at in shares of Yahoo. YHOO.
Another stock I want to take a look at is Micron Technology. Mike Uniform caught a downgrade this morning from RBC Capital, dropping it to a sector perform from an outperform rating. Shares are bid down at just under 2% here. They reiterated their $19 price target. Shares are at $21.26 last time I saw, so it's still above that $19 price target. But basically, they're just saying that the company is a little bit overvalued right now, and they're overly discounting risks associated with softer mobile trends. So basically saying that the market is giving them too much benefit of the doubt.
I don't know. I mean, it's had a nice run, consolidation, pulled back after getting well over $23. Opened up at $21.20. 21.17 low, and then you've rallied up here to 21.43. So that doesn't look like this downgrade is going to take it back down through the $21 level. Had a low at 20.81 on the 18th, but so far that kind of that opening range low still holding up in shares of Micron.
Well, Joel, time does fly when you're having fun, and it looks like we've got just under a minute left of the show. So I don't know if you want to get us with the last thoughts on the S&Ps and
Sure.
see what you think out there, but maybe some final thoughts for the week.
Rob Friesen made a good point that perhaps a lot of the big boys here are enjoying the midweek holiday here, and some of the funds might not be putting money back to work in the market with those year-end payrolls and bonuses and stuff. So kind of had a lazy day yesterday. We did match the low from Thursday in the pre-market down at the low 1820 area. We're $10 above that, so any kind of declines today is going to be met with some buyers here, especially if you can get down to the close here, which is at 26 and change. Coming back on the upside here. We had three lows in a row at 1833 to 1834. The morning pop took us up to 1832 and a quarter. Now we're starting to fade back. So I'm looking at pretty good resistance here at 1834. And if I had to nail, if we did went into a decline, got back to support at the close, I'd be looking for that. Probably kind of have a quiet trading day for the rest of the day is us in the Midwest here getting ready for the big snowstorm. Thanks for joining us on Benzinga's pre-market info, brought to you by OptionsHouse. Don't forget to click the banner at the top of the page. Get 150 free trades. Have a good weekend. We'll be back with you on Monday.